This lecture is about the remaining part of the physical examination of the hip, starting from the muscle length. In muscle length, first we will check for the hip flexion contracture. So for detection of the hip flexion contracture, we perform the Thomas test. So it detects the hip flexion deformity. So how you perform is that the patient is lying at the end of a table. One leg is flexed toward the chest and is maintained by this position by the examiner, and the other leg will be freely extend on the table. So in this you will check the iliopsoas and the rectus femoral. If the iliopsoas muscle is tight, it will restrict the extension of the femur, and if the rectus femoris muscle is tight, it will restrict the knee flexion. It can also used to assess the extensibility of a tensor fasciae latae and the adductors muscle. While the iliopsoas and the tensor fasciae latae, it can also used to check the extensibility of a tensor fasciae latae, like the interior band of a tensor fasciae latae. What happens in this? If full femur extension and the knee flexion occurs, but the knee flexion will be only possible only with the lateral tibial torsion. If hip abduction of less than 15 to 20 degree is present, it may indicate that there is a tightness of a tensor fasciae latae and the iliotibial band. Next is to check the Alice test. In Alice test, we check the rectus femoris contracture. So how it is performed, that the patient is in prone lying position and there will be a passive flexion of the knee which will provoke the compensatory increase in the flexion of the hip, and there will appear a hyperlordosis of the lumbar spine. This indicates that the rectus femoris muscle is tight. Next, we will check the hamstring muscle. So what is the function of the hamstring muscle is to extend the hip and to flex the knee. To check the hamstring muscle, we perform the 90 to 90 degree SLR. So what happened in this, that the patient will be supine and there will be flexes at the hip, and the examiner will grasp the knee from behind from both the hands, and the examiner will extend the knee to the available range. If the patient does not come further within the 20 degree of full extension, this indicates that there is a hamstring tightness and is a positive test. Next is to check the tensor fasciae latae. So for tensor fasciae latae, we check for the iliotibial band. To check this, we perform the Uber's test, which indicate the contracture of the iliotibial band. In this, the patient will be in a side-lying position. The lower leg will be fully flexed to eliminate the lumbar lordosis, and the examiner then passively flexes the hip and the knee to 90 degree, and the leg is abducted and extended. If a patient cannot extend the hip, this may indicate that there is a possibility of a hip flexion contracture. So after doing the abduction, what happens generally is that the leg will adduct back towards the table. But if there's a shortening present, the leg will remain abducted, and the palpation of the entire line of the iliotibial band detects that there is an excessive tightness of the iliotibial band. Next is to perform for the piriformis muscle. So, to check the extensibility of a piriformis, the patient is positioned in the side line, and we will check the uppermost leg. There will be a flexion of 60 degree at the hip and a 90 degree flexion at the knee, and the examiner will stabilize the hip with one hand and will apply the downward pressure at the knee. So what's to check is the quality and the end field motion are noted, and repeat on the opposite side as well. So it indicates if the piriformis is tight, there will be a pain in the muscle, and there will be production of pain in the buttock and along the course of a sciatic nerve. If this is present, it may indicate the positive test. Is to perform the neuromuscular test, which examine the integrity and the mobility of the nervous system. First, we'll perform the dermatomes. It is performed through light touch, and pain sensation of the lower limb is tested to distinguish the sensory loss caused by a root lesion from the caused by the peripheral nerve lesions. So, the dermatomes transmits the sensory information from the particular area of a skin back to your brain. So, they are helpful in evaluating and diagnosing conditions which affect your spinal cord or your nerve roots. Next is to check the myotome. So, myotome will check the muscular distribution of the nerve and the peripheral nerves, which distinguish the motor loss caused by a root lesion from that caused by the peripheral nerve lesion. So, myotome during a myotome testing, you look for the muscle weakness of a particular group of muscle. Next is to check the reflexes. The deep tendon reflexes are elicited by tapping the tendon a number of times. So we perform the knee jerk at L3 and L4 level and the ankle jerk at the S1 level. Next we will come towards the palpation. So in palpation, first we will check the skin. Like there are any lesions present about the hip or there are any surgical scars. Check the temperature, moisture, tenderness, texture, and the mobility of the skin. Next is a soft tissue. In this, you will check the mobility, consistency, swelling, and the tenderness. Or there is any bursitis or any scrotal bursitis, or there's any prominence of a bone present. Next to come towards the special test. In special test, we perform the Nobel compression test, joint clearing test, femoral torsion test, and the torque test. First one is the Nobel compression test. So, a Nobel compression test is used to reveal the tibial band friction near the knee. So, patient will be in the supine line and the knee and the hip will be flexed to 90 degree and thumb pressure is applied to the femoral epicondyle and the patient slowly extends the knee. If there is a pain at 30-degree flexion, which indicates that there is iliotibial band friction syndrome and the test is positive. Next is the joint clearing test. So these tests are important because pain may be referred to the hip from the knee below or from the lumbar spine above. Like for example, the lumbar spine may project pain via the sciatic or the femoral nerve, or the knee can refer pain to the hip to the obturated nerve. So, to exclude the knee, we perform the squatting and the valgus and the varus tests, which may clear the knee. And to clear the lumbar spine, we perform the active flexion, extension, and the lateral flexion. Next is the femoral torsion test to assess the anti-torsion and the retrotorsion. So in this, we perform different tests, crack test or the Riders method to assess the degree of the hip anti-torsion. So patient will be lying prone and the knee will be flexed and the examiner palpates the posterior aspect of a gator trochanter of the femur and the hip is passively rotated. The degree of anti-torsion and the retrotorsion can be measured on the lower leg. Next is the torque test to assess the integrity of a capsular ligament. So, in this, the patient is extended over the edge of the examination table until the pelvis begins to move and the examiner apply a slow posterior lateral stretch to the femoral neck for 10 to 20 seconds while initially rotating the femur to the end range. This may indicate the capsular restriction present or not.